Madison Tapp. My numbers are 5725256, and this is my third lab assignment for Physics 133. So this specific lab is on momentum and kind of figuring out momentum along with how we calculate that. And so the equipment that we need for this specific lab is 2 rulers and 5 marbles. And so I'll go ahead and show my setup. I'm currently staying with my sister until my husband and I get our living situation figured out, since he is currently in his training for his AIT. So I'm kind of in a weird period still, so I will be conducting it on this table. It's a nice flat surface, and I'll just go ahead and kind of show with a couple marbles the setup that I'm gonna be performing. Okay. And I think that I'm probably gonna tape these down somehow, just so that I have a better way to be able to measure everything, so that it's not moving around really funky or anything. So you go ahead and you grab your marbles, and I'll just grab 3 for this example. And then you lay them down right here. And so you're gonna be rolling a marble and seeing, rolling one marble towards the others and seeing the reaction that comes from that. So we're really looking at the momentum from going from one marble and what happens whenever it hits the other marbles, because momentum depends directly on its mass and velocity, which we also measure in kilograms times meters per second. And we calculate the momentum, specifically what we learned in our lab introduction is you calculate momentum by multiplying the velocity times the mass. So you definitely want to make sure that these objects, whenever you're looking at, the first marble that you roll, what's going to happen to the other marbles or the last marble. So in this specific lab, I think that we're definitely going to notice that it goes from the first marble all the way through, and then the reaction comes through in the last marble, because that momentum continues in that elastic reaction. So it just kind of travels through everything. And Newton's laws really go into explaining all of the stuff like momentum, because Newton says that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So whenever you start off with your initial marble, you're gonna see that reaction that you get from the result. And then we're really wanting to look at, the impulse, the change in momentum. And there's actually a second part as well to our experiment. So we're gonna be, for the second part of the experiment, we go through and we'll line up one marble. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. We'll line up one marble at each end of the runway. And I'm definitely gonna have to tape that down. So you'll do one marble at each end of the runway and then flick the 2 ends together. So and using the same amount of force. So you're gonna use the same amount and see what happens whenever the 2 marbles go towards each other. And just kind of seeing how that reaction happens, how the marbles go as a result of that, and trying that with the number of marbles, or on the number of marbles on one side, and then kind of switching it around, just like on the first one. We'll start out with 5 marbles and then take away 1, see what happens, going through 4 marbles, take away 1, 3 marbles. Just the kind of similar to that, we're going to be changing the number of marbles throughout each one. And I believe that is it. And then of course going through and answering the post-lab questions after. And then that's the rest of it for this lab experiment.